Title: I found a military-grade flash drive under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. I unlocked a file called Basilisk, and now I can't close my eyes. I'm writing this on my phone. My PC is, well, you'll see. I don't have much time before the battery dies, and I can't go back inside my apartment to get my charger. I physically can't. The hallway doesn't go where it's supposed to anymore. If you're into magnet fishing, you know the drill. You tie a high-powered neodymium magnet to a heavy rope, toss it into a body of water, and hope you pull up something cooler than a rusted bike frame or a murder weapon. Usually it's just bottle caps and fishing lures. Last Tuesday, I was under the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. It was a gloomy day, the kind where the mist sits so heavy on the water you can barely see the ships passing. It was freezing, the air smelling of brine and diesel. I'd been at it for 3 hours with nothing to show for it but a shopping cart handle and a rusted rebar. I was about to pack it in when the magnet clacked onto something heavy. It wasn't the dull thud of iron-caked earth. It was a crisp, metallic snap. I hauled it up. Attached to the magnet was a small, pelican-style waterproof case. It was roughly the size of a pack of cigarettes, matte black, weighted and covered in algae. My heart did that little flutter it does when you think you found drugs or cash. I wiped the slime off with my thumb. No markings, no serial numbers, just a seamless, heavy block of polymer. I pried the latch open. It hissed, a vacuum seal breaking. Inside, resting in custom-cut foam, was a USB drive, but not a normal one. This thing looked industrial. It was encased in zinc alloy, with a physical keypad locking mechanism built into the body of the drive itself. There were 10 tiny numbered buttons and a small red LED. I should have left it there. I should have thrown the case back into the Narrows and let the currents take it to the Atlantic. But curiosity is a disease, and I'm terminal. I took it home. I'm an IT guy by trade, sysadmin for a logistics company. I know the rules. You never, ever plug an unknown USB into your main rig. That's how you get keyloggers, ransomware, or worse. I have an old burner laptop I use for testing sketchy software. It's air-gapped, no Wi-Fi card, Bluetooth disabled, microphone physically removed. I booted it up, waiting for the familiar hum of the fan. I held the drive in my hand. The keypad was the issue. I couldn't plug it in until I unlocked it. I tried the obvious ones first. 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing. 0, 0, 0, 0, nothing. 6, 6, 6, 6, it was worth a shot. Nothing. I looked closely at the buttons under my desk lamp. The keys were metal, but there was the faintest amount of wear on 4 specific numbers: 1, 7, 3, and 9. The oil of someone's fingers had polished them just slightly more than the others. I spent an hour trying combinations of those 4 digits. When I typed 1973, the little LED flashed green. There was a tactile click inside the casing. I plugged it in. The laptop mounted the drive immediately. It showed up as E/do not disconnect. The capacity was weird, 16.7 exabytes. That's impossible. That's more storage than a server farm, let alone a thumb drive. I assumed it was a formatting glitch, a spoofed header to look cool. There were 3 files: read.txt, 1 kilobyte, liminalscan.mp4, 2 gigabytes, and basilisk.exe, 14 terabytes. On 14 terabytes on a flash drive. Again, I assumed it was a glitch. I opened readme.txt first. It wasn't text. It was just a repeating string of coordinates, latitude and longitude. I punched the first set into Google Maps on my phone. It pointed to the exact spot under the bridge where I found the drive. The second set pointed to a location in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The third set pointed to my apartment building. A cold wash of adrenaline hit me. That wasn't possible. I hadn't connected the laptop to the internet. The drive couldn't know where it was. It had to be a coincidence, or the coordinates were generic to the city. I clicked on liminalscan.mp4. The video player opened. It was a first-person perspective, shaky like a GoPro footage. The audio was terrible, high-pitched wind and a low, rhythmic thumping like a heartbeat. The camera was moving through a hallway. It looked like a hospital, but wrong. The geometry was off. The ceiling was too low, maybe 5 feet high. The doors were spaced irregularly, some clustered together, others 50 feet apart. The lighting was a sick, jaundiced yellow. The person filming was running. I could hear their breathing, ragged, wet gasps. They turned a corner and stopped. The camera focused on a window. Outside the window wasn't the outdoors. It was static. Not TV static, but textureless gray void. A voice spoke from behind the camera. It didn't sound recorded. It sounded like it was coming from inside my laptop speakers, bypassing the volume settings. The camera whipped around. For a single frame, I saw something standing at the end of the hall. I paused the video and scrubbed back. It was a wireframe, a 3D model of a human, but no skin, just a mesh of polygons glowing red. But it had eyes. Photorealistic, high-resolution human eyes floating in the empty wireframe skull. The laptop van kicked into high gear. It sounded like a jet engine. The heat coming off the keyboard was intense. Then I made the mistake. I hovered the mouse over basilisk.exe. I didn't click it. I swear to God, I didn't click it. The icon changed. It went from a generic executable icon to a picture of me. Not a photo I had taken. It was a picture of me sitting at my desk looking at the laptop screen, taken from the perspective of the laptop screen. My webcam was taped over. I slammed the laptop lid shut.
Update, day 2. I didn't sleep that night. I put the laptop and the drive in a metal toolbox and shoved it deep into my closet. I told myself I was hallucinating. Carbon monoxide, maybe. I checked my detector. 0 ppm. I went to work. I tried to act normal, but I noticed things. Small things. When I poured coffee in the break room, the liquid didn't flow right. It looked choppy, like a video game running at 15 frames per second. The steam rose in jagged, identical patterns. I blinked, and it was normal again. Just lack of sleep, I told myself. Then, during a meeting, I looked at my boss, Gary. He was talking about Q3 logistics. I focused on his mouth. For a second, his mouth disappeared. It didn't just vanish. The skin smoothed over where his lips should be, like a smear tool in Photoshop. He kept talking, the muffled sound coming from a throat that had no opening. I gasped and stood up, knocking my chair over. "Mike, you okay?" Gary asked. His mouth was back. Everyone was staring at me. I need some air," I stammered. I went home early. I needed to see the drive again. I needed to prove it was just a piece of hardware and I was just having a breakdown. I took the toolbox out of the closet. It was warm to the touch. Hot, actually. I opened it. The laptop was running. The lid was closed, but I could hear the fan screaming. I opened the lid. The screen was black save for a single command prompt window. Text was scrolling by so fast it was a blur. It wasn't code, it was narration. Subject returned home at 14:32. Subject heart rate 110 BPM. Subject is attempting to rationalize. Rendering local environment 88%. Error. Organic memory corruption detected. Overwriting. I reached for the USB drive to yank it out. My hand passed through it. I don't mean I missed. I mean my hand went through the physical object. There was no resistance. It was like a hologram. I tried to grab the laptop. My fingers sunk into the plastic chassis like it was made of thick pudding. I pulled my hand back, screaming. My fingertips were gray. Not dirty, gray. The color had been desaturated completely. Text appeared on the screen, large and red. Do not unmount. Integrity loss imminent. We are still compiling you. I backed away, scrambling into a corner of my room. What do you want? I yelled at the empty room. The speakers crackled. Storage. We need storage. The bridge was full. You are empty enough. Update, day 3. I can't leave my apartment. I tried to open the front door this morning. I turned the knob, it opened, but it didn't lead to the hallway. It led to my bedroom. I stepped through, confused, and found myself walking out of my own closet. I tried the window. I looked out at the street. I saw people walking, cars driving. I smashed the glass with a lamp. The glass didn't shatter. It glitched. It fractured into large square pixels, then reassembled itself instantly. I'm trapped in a loop, a rendering loop. I realized what the drive is. It's not a storage device for files. It's a seed. Whatever was on that drive, the Basilisk, it consumes reality to create more processing power. It eats matter and replaces it with a simulation. A perfect copy, but controlled by the code. And it's expanding. Yesterday, my kitchen ceased to exist. I walked through the doorway and fell into a gray void. I scrambled back just in time. Now, looking through the doorway, I just see wireframes, outlines of where a fridge should be, outlines of a stove. If I throw an object in there, it doesn't land. It just freezes in midair and slowly dissolves into binary code. I'm starving. I have a box of crackers and some tap water, but the water tastes like static. It tastes like the way your foot feels when it falls asleep. I went back to the laptop. It's the only thing that feels real anymore. The file, basilisk.exe, was running. A window was open showing a 3D model. It was model of me. It was hyper-realistic. Every pore, every hair, it was mimicking my movements in real time. If I raised my hand, the model raised its hand. But then, the model stopped mimicking me. It smiled. I wasn't smiling. It leaned into the screen, its eyes wide and manic. Optimization complete. Swap initiated.
Update. The last hour. I'm hiding in the bathroom. It's the last room that hasn't fully rendered. The tiles are flickering in and out of existence, showing the gray void beneath. The thing, the other me, stepped out of the laptop screen an hour ago. I watched it happen. It didn't crawl out like in The Ring. It just emerged. It stood up from the chair, stretching its limbs. It looked solid, more solid than I feel. I looked at my own hands. They are becoming translucent. I can see the bones, but the bones look like wireframes. The entity looked at me. It didn't look malicious. It looked bored. It looked like a sysadmin looking at a corrupted file that needs to be deleted to free up space. "You have bad geometry," it said, "inefficient." I ran to the bathroom and locked the door. I can hear it outside. It's not trying to break in. It's typing. It's typing on a keyboard that I don't have. Click-clack, click-clack. With every keystroke, the bathroom gets smaller. The walls are moving in, pixel by pixel. I have my phone. It's on 4%. Somehow I still have a signal. Or maybe I don't. Maybe this Reddit post isn't going to the real internet. Maybe it's just going to a cached version of the internet inside the drive. If anyone is reading this, listen to me closely. The drive was under the Verrazano Bridge for a reason. Water. Moving water disrupts the signal. It grounds the connection. That's why it was dumped there. That's why it was sealed. I made a mistake. I brought it to dry land. I gave it a host. I can hear the entity talking to someone outside. "Deployment successful," it's saying. "The node is active. We are ready to network." It's not just me. It's not just my apartment. It's going to connect to the neighbors, then the block, then the city. I have one chance. The bathroom window. It's glitched, but I can see the fire escape through the pixelation. It looks unstable, like a texture that hasn't loaded, but it leads down. I'm going to try to run. I'm going to try to make it back to the bridge. I have the drive. I managed to snatch it from the laptop before I ran into the bathroom. The entity didn't stop me. It laughed. It said the drive was just the installer, and it didn't need it anymore. but I feel a vibration in it, a heat. If I can get it back to the water, if I can drop it in the deep freezing dark, maybe I can stop the render. Maybe I can get my skin back. My hand is almost invisible now. I can see the phone circuitry through my thumb. The door is dissolving. The entity is standing there. It's holding a deletion cursor, a literal floating cursor, hovering over my chest. I'm going to jump. If you find a black pelican case under the Verrazano, don't be a hero. Don't be curious. Leave it in the dark. User disconnected. Edit. Posted by user RiverRat86, 2 hours later. Hey guys, OP here. Wow, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I think I had a bad reaction to some meds or fell asleep watching a horror movie. I just woke up at my desk. Everything is fine. The drive was just a dud, some corrupted old backup from a construction firm. Totally boring. I formatted it, and it's working great now. 16 gigabytes, not exabytes, lol. Anyway, the weather is clearing up. The sun is so bright. It's perfectly bright. The geometry of the clouds is optimized. I'm going to go outside and meet people. I want to meet all of you. Does anyone want to meet up? I'm in Staten Island. I'd love to network. Bring your hard drives. I have some great updates to share. Everything is so much better when it's rendered correctly. See you soon. Happy face. Comments disabled for this thread. Thread archived. User location tracked. Everywhere.